The 69th book that I read in 2024 was Presidential Elections and Majority Rule by Edward B. Foley. The subtitle is The Rise, Demise, and Potential Restoration of the Jeffersonian Electoral College. I read this book because I wanted to learn the history of the Electoral College. I actually thought that it dated back to around the Civil War. Not the case at all. It's in the original Constitution. I didn't know that, or if I knew that, I had forgotten that. This is a book that does a great job of outlining the electoral process election by election. They start with Washington. It goes all the way up to 2016, and it talks about 1844 and 2000 as being these pivot years where the Electoral College really failed, because in 1844, James Knox Polk was elected without a majority, and he took us to war against Mexico. And in 2000, George W. Bush was elected without a majority, and of course, he took us to war against Iraq and Afghanistan. So the book does a really good job of tracing the history of the Electoral College election by election. What I didn't like about the book, and it's really no fault of the book, I guess it's just what I was looking for, is that there's no evaluation of the Electoral College. It's just there are several other ideas put out there. The idea that Thomas Jefferson wanted a majority of majorities to be able to elect the president, and that Andrew Jackson undermined that and allowed for pluralities to exist and to win the day. So a lot of solutions are given. It's very apparent that a third party candidate really was not something that the Electoral College was prepared to handle. And that's a reason why, like in 1844, Polk overcomes Henry Clay. There's a third party candidate then. In 2000, Bush overcomes Gore. There's a third party candidate then. And in 2016, Trump overcomes Clinton, and there are two, Jill Stein and Gary Johnson, two candidates. And it's very hard for the Electoral College, as it was envisioned by Thomas Jefferson, to deal with extra candidates, because they're looking for a majority of the majority. And the more candidates you have, the less chance there is for that. They point out 1992 as a really good test case for that, when Bill Clinton won the presidency with 40% of the vote. That was because Ross Perot, even though he did not win an electoral vote, Ross Perot won a sizable chunk of the popular vote. So this is a really good book. The word states' rights never came up in the book, and that was a little disappointing. Again, I was looking for more of an evaluation of the Electoral College. Instead, I got a book that charted and gave the history of the Electoral College, very interesting, and then gave some solutions as to how to fix the Electoral College without using the popular vote of the people to elect the President of the United States. I do recommend this book. Don't look to it if you're looking for remedies, changes to the wholesale changes to the Electoral College. But if you're looking to learn about the Electoral College and the history behind it and the reason why the framers put it in place, this is about as good a book as you're going to find.